So, we're in my brother's garage and he's got to sharpen some saws. So he's going to show us how he does it. He uses a file and he's good at it because he's been doing it for how long?
35 years.
Yeah, so you know what you're doing.
I kind of got the hang of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just sharpening a saw that like you're wasting your time. But these aren't bad. We're just going to touch these up a little bit. And sometimes you got a hard file, sometimes you got a hard chain. And unless you've sharpened hundreds of saws in your lifetime, you don't realize that. Sometimes you got a chain, like, this chain doesn't sharpen. You got a brand new file, it just ain't going. You get bad chains, you get bad files. So it's not exactly perfect every time.
Right.
You got to learn that. It's like, okay, I got a bad file or I got a bad chain. Well, if you got a bad file, get a new file. I buy them by the box. I buy them by the dozen. I usually have 3 dozen files on hand.
And per file, you're paying what, $1 a piece?
They're like $1 a piece. They're coming up a little bit over the years, but yeah, you go buy one file at the hardware store, they want $5 or whatever stupid price. Like, really?
Yeah.
Buy them by the box. But if it depends on what you're doing. When you do this for a living, you got to go commercial. So
you buy bulk.
That's what we do. Buy by bulk. I buy 20, 30 chains at a time. I buy 3 saws at a time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, show me what you do here. Let's see.
Well, I got the glasses on here, so I got the bifocals because I'm old. So I don't know how this chain looks. I don't even know. This chain doesn't look bad. It's loose. I can still sharpen it being loose. Usually about 3 swipes. Yeah. You just got to keep the angle. You know, they got that little line on there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. And this saw, the tip has got just a little titch gone. This saw is not bad, but we're going to touch it up. Okay. I don't know where we left off. We left off right there. Okay, so I got gloves on, so I'll slice myself. That's a pretty sharp chain, and I can't see because he's got the camera in it. There, that's better. And this saw is not that dull, but sharper is better than not. See, I don't know if you can see that little white tip on that tooth right there, from where you're at.
Yep, I think I can see it. Yep.
That's the first thing that hits your cut is that tip, and if that's a little off, it hurts you a little bit. I don't have this in a vise. I'm just doing this on a tailgate, so it's a little loose. And he's got the camera in my waist, so I'm kind of doing this by feel.
And you said you get how many sharpenings generally with a file? 5?
Well, that's a hard number to pick because sometimes you got good files and sometimes you got bad files. And most people try to file with a dull file. You think, oh, I got a file. Well, they don't last forever. If you're in production cutting, you don't want to spend too much time sharpening or filing. When your chain gets to a certain point, you grab another chain and you give that chain to your buddy who wants to cut firewood on the weekend and ain't trying to make a living.
How often are you sharpening? You go every tank, every other tank?
It just depends on the wood. You know, if you hit some dirt, you know.
You can feel it right away. I think you can tell right away when you need to sharpen.
When you cut for a living,
as soon as you're fighting it, it's time to sharpen.
You can tell instantly. You know, sometimes you think you're pinched or something. Like, oh, I just hit some dirt. Damn it. It's just like, Okay, that's one side. We're going to cut the other side now.
I notice you wrap your arm around that.
Oh, this is like being a vise here.
Yeah, right. I noticed in the woods you lay it on a stump the same way.
I got a buddy of mine. He can sit here and do both sides like this. I can't do that. I'm so right-handed. Yeah. I can't wipe my butt with it, my left hand. It's just So this is how I do it. But I tend to file this side more because I got more pressure on it.
Right.
So I got to try to back off a little bit on it. And like I said in the beginning, this saw is not real dull. It's okay, but when I'm making a living with my saw, I want it razor sharp every cut.
I do too.
Every cut. And you got days where you got no dirt, and your saws are sharp, and your files are sharp. You're just like, oh my God. I'm just happy. It just makes you happy. All right, he's got the camera so close I can't see what I'm doing.
I'm gonna get as close as I can. So next, slow, stop. I'm gonna get as close as I can. There you go. Now go. You can just do it by feel. So I want to get as close as I can so I can see what it's doing. There we go.
I got to be able to see a little bit.
Not much. That's as close as I can get without touching the file.
Yeah, I know. As close as I can see, I can't even see what I'm doing.
Isn't that light nice though?
Oh my God.
Because here's without it. There's with it. And then make a difference.
Okay, we're done.
Yep. So you don't mark a tooth or anything?
No.
Because you can feel it.
You can feel it. You can feel it. You can see it.
I just do.
I'm old. It's nice when you got sunlight where you can see the shine on that tooth that you sawed last. You can see that little bit of, fuzz coming off the file.
Right.
And I don't have a handle on my file. I'm like,
well, I noticed this is his custom carrier when he's in the woods.
Here's my file carrier.
He just sticks it in there and that's it.
Usually just put it in your pocket, but like, I don't like these falling out, and you lose them in the woods, and that guy skidding the wood out pushes through his tire. They don't like that.
They don't.
That's $1,000 tire sometimes, depending on the machine you're dealing with. These will puncture a tire like a needle.
They don't bend over.
No, these. So anytime you discard a file in the woods, I always stick it down in a rotten stump someplace. It'll rust into Mother Nature. But I generally bring them home and I throw them away and do all the environmentally friendly stuff.
Well, let's sharpen up the beast here.
Okay. Yeah, and that one wasn't bad.
But now it's ready to kill.
That chain was a little loose. This is a little bit loose.
But for sharpening, it's nice because you can move it.
Yeah, it's not bad. So we'll do another one.
You never use a vise at all. You just always.
It's better than a vise because you can get two hands on it.
Right.
But I've done it in the woods for so many years. It's like, God. Now I got to clear all the crap around my vise, and because my garage is a junk hole. I can do a pretty darn good job. I can 95%.
Well, that's because you got
on my tailgate.
It's the same as anything else, like you said. The more you do it, the better you're going to get it.
I've been doing this for 30-some years. I don't even know.
That's why a lot of guys, when they ask, how do you get your chain so sharp? I hear that
practice.
all the time. Practice.
Practice.
Just keep doing it.
Practice.
The more you
absolutely
do it, the better you're gonna get at it.
When you sharpen, like I don't know numbers. I mean,
thousands of times.
Thousands and thousands for.
Let's see what you can do on the big boy here.
So we're gonna touch this out. Okay, now you can see the damage here.
As close as I can here.
I don't know if you can see this.
Yep.
You can see that rough edge. Okay, this one here. Look on this too. See that rough edge?
Yep, right there.
You see that brown? If you see brown on your tooth,
it's burning.
They're dull.
Right.
They're dull. Yeah, this saw's got nuts. It cuts. But you're still burning, wasting gas by not sharpening.
Yeah, I can see that on there.
You see that little bitty tip that is gone?
Yep.
And okay, I'm going to sharpen one tooth here so you can see the difference. You're going to get past that little white tip on that tooth. And that's not 100%, but it's pretty darn good.
Right.
And another thing is you got to take these rakers down as you go down.
Oh, you don't do that you don't do that at the end?
You can tell, well,
I always sharpen mine, then I take the rake.
from experience, you know, there's gauges and all that stuff, but when you're making a living at this, you ain't got time to screw around with that.
Right.
You just, okay, the sharp, you know, the chain is sharp. Oh, it's not cutting quite right. So I got to take about 20 thousandths off of this. So then you take your flat file.
And that's that file. Tell them about that. A lot of guys don't know this.
This is a special flat file. It has no teeth on the sides. So if you slip over a little bit, you're not hurting your tooth.
Right.
See, there's no teeth on that.
Right.
This is for this job. This file is probably 20 years old. I don't know.
Really?
I don't have no idea. I've had this forever. You don't take your rakers down that much.
No, it's just a couple swipes.
Because generally, when I get my tooth down to somewhere's about in here,
Right.
I'm done with this chain. I'm
Right.
wasting my time.
I've already run them where I'm almost touching that line there, and
You're wasting time.
you can cut for a little while, it's good, but as soon as it loses that edge, it's bad. So
The problem is when your tooth is brand new, it's wider. It's way out here,
and it's higher,
and it's higher,
right?
and you're throwing a big chip. When you get down into here, you're throwing sawdust no matter what.
Right.
So how much gas do you want to burn to save that $20, $30, $25 chain, whatever it costs you?
Right.
Put a new chain on, give it away, throw it away, whatever.
Yeah.
It's economics.
Yeah. Just start with a new one.
All right, so we're going to sharpen this
You
up.
like my
These rakers here, what you see, okay, I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
If I file it, you can see the file marks.
Yep. I can see it.
When it starts to get real shiny,
That means it's polishing on the wood.
you gotta take them down. If this is all shined up, and your raker is the depth of your cut, is what it is.
It's a depth gauge.
It's the depth of your chip.
It's how much wood.
But if you take your rakers down too
getting
much,
to the tooth. Right?
like especially with this saw, this is a big mother saw. You take that chip down too far, you can't hang on to the saw.
The saw will just.
It will eat you up.
Well, there's a guy.
So
that I saw a
there's
video.
thousands of inches here we're dealing with.
There's a guy I saw a video. They call him 9-finger Fred or something like that. And they asked why he had 9 fingers. He says because I took my rakers off. He ground rakers off, and the saw went back, kicked him so hard he put his hand up to block it and cut a finger off.
This saw will do
Saw will
that.
do that. Yeah.
This saw, when you lay into a tree, it's like,
Yeah.
boom!
I noticed that. It almost pulls it when you're going down
And
in your first cut. It
You
just
do
jumps
not
ahead.
ever want to take your rakers down too far.
No.
In hardwood, especially. You can get away with it in softwood.
Right.
Softwood is way forgiving. That's like candy cane wood in sunshine.
Yeah.
You cut frozen hardwood in the winter where I live, at below 0, it will kill you. I've already just laid in a tree, boom, snap the chain right off. It's like, oh,
On the new chain, you've done that?
brand new.
Really? I've never done that. I've broken.
When you lay into a hard maple at below 0, and that full chain hits it, what you got to do is you got to feather into it so you're not hitting the whole chain.
Right.
When you hit that full 20 or 24 inches, what you got? It just bam! It's frozen steel, frozen wood,
Yeah.
and
I suppose, and if your chain is just fresh started and it's cold, it's gonna be more brittle. It's 20 below.
bad.
Yeah,
It's
but
all bad.
That's why you want to warm it up.
When you learn, after you do that, and the truck's a half-mile away, I ain't making no money because I'm getting paid by the cord.
Right.
So I've went through all these life lessons for a long time.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna sharpen this up. I don't know how much this you want to really watch, but
All of it. They want to see everything, don't you guys? They never saying yes, I
yeah,
do. Yeah. It's not that complicated. It really
no, it's basically just practice.
is. Would you say it's like 50% feel, 50% sight, or more feel than anything?
Yeah, I'd say 50-50 because I could do this in the dark,
Pretty good, probably. Yeah.
but boy, with this light on, this is really nice.
Gonna have to get you more lights.
Well, that's like on a tailgate out in the sunshine on the wood on a job.
Stop once. Stop. Well,
Just finish the tooth.
Okay, stop right there. Just go to put your file in the next tooth.
Okay, you see this? You see this?
White.
See that white edge here?
I can see it in the camera. The little white tip, right on the very.
That's got to come off.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it disappearing.
So go back to this tooth. That's gone.
Yeah. But this one.
That's clean metal.
This one I can actually see the white tip. You guys can see it on the camera too, I'm sure, on your screen. And that's what's bad. You get but I've hit, rocks and stones.
Oh,
it actually is bent
you
back.
hit rock and stones, you throw it away and get a new chain on.
You can take it down, but
yeah,
usually
you're going to waste a lot of time.
Yes.
It can be saved. It depends how cheap you are and how much time you have. Usually, it's time is money.
Yep.
So you got to learn how to avoid that, and once in a while it happens. So we're just going to keep going. I've never had such good light before. This is better than sunlight.
Well,
and I have my glasses on.
Yeah, light makes a difference. That's what I've used a headlight.
Usually, because I don't wear my glasses in the woods.
You're doing it by feel.
So I got to do this by feel, and it's never as good.
Well, every once in a while, though, you're taking the file and you're cleaning it off with your glove.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
You try to get that filings out of there.
I'm jamming it up, right?
Yeah, the tip just came off of that one.
Yep. You can see it.
And the thing is, you can't. Not every tooth is exactly the same because you might hit a rock. You got to realize this saw is turning at 13,000 RPMs. You might have had a little pebble in a bark or something. You might only hit 3 teeth.
Right.
But they might be destroyed and everything else is good, so now you got to try to adjust to that.
Yeah, but I've seen guys videos that they have out there where they'll use an actual micrometer to measure each tooth to make sure.
You're wasting a lot of time.
That's a guy with way too much time.
You got way too much time.
Yeah.
When I'm getting paid for production,
right.
I don't have time for that crap.
Don't you find that if one tooth?
Okay, see now we're down. This is where we started.
Yep. But
So
if you
we're
get a tooth
done.
that's a lot shorter, and the one that's longer, it still cuts.
It still cuts.
So you cut both sides already, or no? You got to do your rest.
No, we got to do the other side now. You can feel that. You can. I don't know if you can hear it, but the first couple drags are pretty rough on here. You can see that rough edge. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
You got to get past that.
Almost all the time. There's 4. There's 4 again.
Well, from this side, I can push harder because I got my arm wrapped around the saw, and I'm right-handed, so.
And that's one thing too. You got to make sure you get them equal, because if they're not, I've done it before. You get one side real sharp, the other side so sharp, and you cut crooked.
Now there's a real bad tooth. I don't know if you see that.
Yes, I can.
That one's really messed up.
Yep. It's getting better. So there was like about what, 9-10 strokes?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bunch.
I just do it until it's better. So now what happens is your raker don't match your tooth.
Right.
It's never going to be perfect.
So you're gonna hire me to come and hold the light for you every time you need to sharpen your chain?
No.
It is nice though, isn't it? So I can see from here how much you can see what I can see instantly when it's looking good. I hope it's coming through on camera.
We're done. Nope, we're not. Now we're done. We're back to where we started. Okay, so we're talking rakers here. Chris is asking me my opinion and stuff. I've been doing this for 30 some years. This is how I do it. Doesn't mean it's the only way. It ain't the right way or the wrong way. That's how I do it. So pretty much everything's by feel. When you're cutting, when you know your saw's cutting, and you lay into a piece of wood, it's going whoop. You're like, woo! I won. So you always want to get to that point, but it doesn't happen that often because you're always hitting dirt, you're hitting a pebble, you're hitting some sand. And so I'm going to take these rakers down just a touch because they need it.
Yeah, and I was cutting with this saw earlier today, and it wasn't digging like it
So
did
if you
a couple
can,
days ago.
so if you look at these rakers, you see they're shiny on top. They're not all shiny on top because they're not all perfectly filed, but how I gauge it, of course I got to put my glasses on because I can't see, is if I can see my file marks on my tooth, I'm good. Once it starts getting real shiny, it needs to come down.
That means your raker's going over the top of the wood and it's rubbing on that wood, so it's...
Well, the rakers is taking your chips out.
Right. Or, well, it's your depth.
But it's your depth of your tooth. So you're gonna find a happy medium. We're talking about thousands here. We're talking, 10,000s, 20,000s. So it's kind of it's always a little bit of a guessing game. And depending on, because we have such a variety of wood here, depending on where you're cutting pine or spruce or softwood, balsam or whatever, or hardwood, it makes a big difference. Yeah. And the thing is, we cut the same wood all in the same day sometimes.
Different wood.
So you can't file for everything perfectly every day. It's not possible. So we're going to take these rakers down just a touch, and this file is about wore out. So usually just a couple swipes.
Here, okay, now stop. So you're taking this side, the opposite side you're standing on, you're pushing it this way.
Yes. That's how you do it.
Okay.
That's how I do it.
A lot of people don't know that.
No, we're going the same direction tooth, and I'm going to turn it around and do the other side.
Okay, there you go.
And see, this tooth here is not sharp. See that little white tip on there? If you can't see that.
I can see it.
That tip is not sharp, but it's okay. I mean,
yeah.
If I was in competition sawing or something, no, that wouldn't be acceptable, but
yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see the old file marks here a little bit.
Yeah.
And you see on that saw, that's not sharp either.
Well, who sharpened this saw?
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to have to do this over again. It'll cut, because this saw's got so much snot to it. So it's always better to file less than too much on the rakers, especially. Because if you take too much, yeah, them teeth. Who filed this?
Yeah, there's still some white spots. I see.
Yeah, we got to take these back again.
You might have missed a few teeth, maybe.
No, it's like every one. I can see it.
I know because I bow hunt and I used to sharpen broadheads. It is such a science to sharpening that's why so many people struggle with it, no matter what instrument you're using.
Okay, we're already through this.
Chainsaws are no different.
No. Yeah, it's like these teeth got a little tip on all of them.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It ain't much.
No. Yeah, I can see it on this one.
You got to get rid of that white tip.
Yeah,
you can't have that.
Yeah.
This probably still ain't sharp, but it's going to be better.
Way better than what it was. Yeah, I was cutting that hard maple with it, and
yeah, to see that white tip right there. You got to get rid of that.
Yeah. And I could tell it was getting dull because I was forcing the saw. That's the one thing that I can say that I noticed. When I start working too hard with the saw, your chain's dull.
You're losing money.
You're losing money. You're losing time. And you're working too hard.
Well,
Cut it off and sharpen it. That's what I do. Or pick up a different saw. That's why I run 3-4 saws. So I just grab the next saw up. Isn't it nice when you get a nice sharp saw and about 4 cuts in you hit the ground?
oh, I just want to cry. There's a lot of cuss words usually.
No, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of cussing.
Yeah, it makes you feel better though. That one's really got a good white tip. I can see that right away in the light.
Yeah, see, we gotta get past that.
There you go.
See, we're past it.
That's pretty good.
So we did a halfway job the first time around. You got to get past that tip. That was good. That one's good. Anytime you see that brown on your chain, it's bad. Okay. Okay, now we gotta do the other side. Okay. I'm gonna take the rakers down first. I can hardly lift that saw.
It's because it weighs 400 pounds.
My arms are wore out. I'm old and I'm tired, but we're gonna get through this.
See, now if you had a regular file that had teeth on the outside, you couldn't push your chain forward like that. You'd be messing up your teeth.
No, I'm pushing from backside.
No, but oh yeah, okay.
I'm pushing from backside.
See, I've never sharpened it with my arm over like that. I actually like kneel on either side and sharpen over the top, but I don't have a titanium knee like you do, so I can do that.
Okay, we're getting... I hate to take too much, especially with this saw.
Right, because it'll just
Especially with this
shoot
saw.
right out of your arms.
This thing will rip right out of your arms like a freaking motorcycle.
Well, it is a motorcycle engine.
Well, 95 cc's, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like a double sharpener. Yeah, this is feeling better.
Yeah.
If we can cut clean with this tomorrow, you'll be impressed.
Well, the problem is you're shoving them all around in that dirt and everything. And
No, we got frozen ground right now.
now it's better, but that doesn't mean the logs came from
Right. You never know what's in that bark.
Especially the big ones. What if you notice the big logs sometimes when you're cutting them? They've been moved around from pile to pile. They're trying to get rid of them.
Yep.
And so they're full of garbage. They're full of dirt, rocks.
Go through a lot of chains. I buy about, I don't know, I go through maybe 20 chains a year.
That's about what I went through last year. Almost 20 chains, I would say, right around there.
We don't want to go overboard here. We're like, I think we got her.
You're not doing surgery with it, but you want it sharp.
I tell you what, when you get a saw that cuts like surgical and it stays that way for a couple tanks,
It's a beautiful thing.
it's like that white pine buying chains, because the perfect world doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But when you get a day where you can cut without, well, I never not sharpen. But if you can get through that day where you got good wood and everything goes sick, that doesn't happen very often. Get used to the pain.
Get used to the
Get
thing.
used to the pain.
There's a reason Arnold looked the way he did, right? He was used to
Get used to the pain. I can hardly lift my arms right now. We were cutting wood all day. I was swinging that saw. Well, half day compared to what I used to do. I used to do it 10 hours a day. 5 hours, I'm done. I'm like, I can't lift my arms anymore. I can't walk. But I still love it. I love it.
So there you go. So there you go. He did a little file sharpening,
Yeah.
and he's good at it because he's done it a lot. And the theme is what?
Practice.
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 Get used to the pain. Just keep doing it.
Get
And
used
the
to the
only way to
pain.
get better. Everybody wants a shortcut in everything.
No.
I get questions on the channel.
There's no shortcuts here.
Yeah, I get questions
Practice.
all the time on the channel. You know, why do you do this? Or what if you did that? Or what if you did that? Or how about you try this? Or you should try that. A lot of it is just you just got to face the music and do the work. You just got to do the work.
That's
and
how it is.
sharpening, no matter how you do it, you just got to do it. It doesn't get easy. It's just it takes time and effort and.
Well, it gets easier the
You
more
still
you
gotta do it.
practice,
So you
but you
still
still
gotta
got to do it.
Yep.
If your saw ain't cutting, you need to sharpen it.
Exactly. So that's it for today, folks. Hopefully you saw some good stuff. I know everybody asks me all the time, how do you sharpen? How do you get your saws sharp? I do it. He does it. A lot of guys are good at it. The more videos you watch on it, the more you do it, the better you're going to get. So that's it for today. Please hit the buttons, like, subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff. And between now and tomorrow, you're going to come back tomorrow and watch another video because that's what you should do. Get out in the woods and do some cutting. So, what do you got to say now?
Good night, Irene.